Dear students, now we are going to discuss transpiration and what are the structures concerned with transpiration and what type of transpirations are there. So transpiration means loss of water in the form of vapor from aerial parts of the plant body. So loss of water in the form of vapor from aerial parts. Water in the form of vapor. So if it is in a vapor phase, what about cohesive forces? Less. Okay. Surface tension? Less. So in the form of vapor from aerial parts. Aerial parts of shoot system only. Aerial parts of shoot. Some may question, in some plants, roots are aerial. Are they able to perform transpiration? No. Reason, they are concerned with, they are modified roots concerned with some other function. So this is applicable to aerial parts of shoot system only. So here plants are able to absorb enormous amount of water. Out of total amount of water, maximum amount of water absorbed by the root system is reaching the leaf. Out of that much amount of water, how much amount of water is required for metabolic activities of a plant? Just 1% only. What about 99% of water reaching the leaf is lost by means of transpiration, right? So now what are the types of transpiration? Transpiration types. On the base of a type of the structure involved, so basically there are three kinds of transpirations. One is stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration. Transpiration through the stomata. Stoma singular, stomata plural. So maximum rate of transpiration is by stomata, more than 80%, 80 to 90%, up to 90%, maximum percent, 90%. Remaining percentage, 10%. So this is up to 90% or more than that also. 91, 92 also, 90% you can take. And second one is lenticular transpiration. Lenticular means transpiration through the lenticels. What are the lenticels? Go back to secondary growth in dicot stem. During extrastellar secondary growth, because of the activity of a phellogen cork cambium, lens-shaped openings are produced. Lens-shaped openings. So transpiration through lenticels is called as a lenticular transpiration. So by means of this one, for example, in the case of woody plants only, or plants with secondary growth only, generally they are present on stems, particularly after secondary growth. So this one accounts for 8 or 9%. 8 I'm taking. So 98 completed. 8 to 9% actually. Third one, cuticular. cuticular transpiration. Transpiration through the cuticle. What is a cuticle? A waxy coating. Cutin. Cutin is a waxy material like soberin. Cutin, a waxy material. Right? So these are various types of transpiration. This one accounts for 1 to 2%. 1 to 2%. Okay, so highest rate of transpiration by means of stomata. Now, what about first one, stoma? So first one, stoma. Stoma, singular. Okay, so what are the cells and structures present in stoma? So stoma is present in epidermis of aerial parts. What about the location? Go back to epidermal tissue system. In epidermal tissue system, which you studied under the heading internal organization of flowering plants, stoma is a part of epidermis or not? Epidermal tissue system. So each stoma is with what are the things? First, stomatal pore or aperture. Aperture means opening. Stomatal pore plus guard cells. Generally, 2 guard cells. Guard cells. How many? Usually 2. More than 2 also possible, but according to NEET standards, 2 is enough. 2 guard cells and certain number of surrounding cells, epidermal cells only. They are called as subsidiary cells. Subsidiary, or they are also called as accessory cells. Okay, so these 3 collectively called as stomatal apparatus. Okay, so simply one stoma singular is equal to one stomatal apparatus. Okay, so now what about the structure of guard cells and stomata? Okay, so first one, guard cells in the case of dicot plants. So now what about the structure of stomata or stroma? So first one, dicot stomata, and next one, the monocot stomata. So in the case of dicots, so what about guard cells are kidney shaped, reniform or kidney shaped or bean shaped, sorry. Okay, right? So here, very important thing in the case of guard cells. So this one is guard cell. Okay, so guard cells, how many? 2 guard cells. And the shape of the guard cell, kidney or reniform. Synonyms, reniform or bean shaped. These are parenchyma cells only, epidermal cells only, one kind of epidermal cell. Guard cells are nothing but a specialized parenchyma cells. Okay, so this one is pore, aperture. This region is a pore, opening, pore, aperture. Okay, next, Very, very important thing. Inner walls. Inner walls are thick. Inner walls are thick with a radially arranged from center towards periphery. Radially arranged microfibrils, cellulose microfibrils. So take this one. Inner walls, thick. Inner walls are thick. Next, cellulose microfibrils are radially arranged. Radially means from center towards periphery. Radial, from center towards outside. Radially, radius, follow radius, radially arranged microfibrils instead of a tangential arrangement, instead of longitudinal arrangement. For example, this one, radial. For example, take this one, radial. And next one, vertically arranged. For example, I am taking like this one. So this one is a vertically arranged one. So instead of vertical arrangement, they are with here in this case horizontal arrangement, radially arranged. Okay, so radially arranged microfibrils play an important role in opening and closing of pore. Otherwise, if they are vertically arranged, there will be a tough task to regulate opening and closing. Next, outer walls. Outer walls thin. There also microfibrils are present, thin only. So 1, 2 guard cells. Okay. So stoma is Turgor operated valve. Valve, V-A-L-V-E, valve. Turgor operated valve. Means opening and closing of this one depends on, opening and closing depends on Turgor pressure. For example, these two are guard cells. Okay, so Turgor pressure is more Turgor pressure opening, less Turgor pressure closing down. So stoma is Turgor operated valve. So who is able to regulate Turgor pressure? Guard cells. So guard cells are so-called guard cells are Turgor operated walls in the epidermis or the plant part in which they are present. We will discuss that one more at the time of opening and closing of stomata after completion of the structure of the stoma. So 1, 2 guard cells completed. And there with chloroplasts also, they are parenchymatous cells. What are the guard cells? Description for guard cells. Guard cell, whatever the guard cell here, in this case, they are parenchymatous cells. Parenchyma is well known to you. Fundamental tissue, parenchyma, with chloroplasts. With the chloroplasts. So out of epidermis, for example, if you go back to ecology, epidermis of hydrophytes, all epidermal cells of all epidermal cells are assimilatory in function was given. So in the case of hydrophytes, all epidermal cells of shoot system able to perform photosynthesis. But what about in the case of terrestrial plants, xerophytes? Not all epidermal cells, only certain number with chloroplasts. Guard cells are able to perform photosynthesis some extent only because of chloroplast. And around this one, morphologically different cell. Morphologically different cell, certain number 3 or 4 or 5. So what are they? They are the subsidiary cells. They are also epidermal cells. So how many kinds of epidermal cells are present in this area? Out of one stroma, two kinds, guard cells, subsidiary cells. Total number of cells are more than three or four or five or six or 10. That depends on number of subsidiary cells. What about guard cells? Two only usually. Subsidiary cells, maybe one or two or three or four, variable number. But kinds, how many kinds? Two kinds only, right? So outer walls thin, outer walls thin, inner walls thick. Okay, right? So here this wall is becoming concave, crescent shaped, half moon, concave. This one convex, convex, elevated one. Remember that one. So that's about the structure of a dicot stomata. Now, what about distribution of a stomata in dicot leaves? Distribution of a stomata distribution of stomata in dorsiventral leaf, dorsiventral leaf, dicot leaf, dicot leaf, dorsiventral leaf. Okay, so first one, amphistomatus. Amphistomatus. Amphistomatus means stomata are from both adaxial and abaxial. Go back to anatomy. This word was not given. This is additional statement. So stomata on both adaxial upper epidermis, adaxial and abaxial lower epidermis, but unequally distributed. Given statement, unequally distributed with unequal distribution. What is that unequal distribution? Unequal distribution. What is that unequal distribution? In this case, amphistomatous condition, adaxial with less number of stomata, abaxial with more number of stomata. That is one type of adaptation to reduce stomatal transpiration. So that's why the given statement in the first year anatomy textbook, that anatomy part. Okay, given statement, adaxial with less number of stomata, abaxial with more number of stomata. That was the first statement. And the next statement, the latter was given. The latter means abaxial, means down, even may not have a, adaxial may not have a stomata. That was the statement given in anatomy. So present on adaxial, abaxial, unequal distributed. And the former one, see, adaxial one may be without a stomata also. What is the meaning of that one? So amphistomatous condition is present in generally mesophytes. Go back to ecology, mesophytes, living in optimum climatic conditions. And second one, hypostomatous. Hypostomatous. Leaves are hypostomatous. What is hypo? Here, hypo means stomata are restricted to. Stomata restricted to abaxial. Now you can understand first year statement given. Unequally distributed, less on adaxial, more on abaxial. And the former is sometime without stomata. Means, according to this statement, hypo means stomata restricted to abaxial only. What about adaxial epidermis? No stomata, stomata absent. Okay, so in this case, stomatal transpiration is possible from abaxial surface only, not from the adaxial. Reason? Adaxially, stomata are absent. So example, if example is given to you, now you can understand why those leaves are hypostomatous. Xerophytes. Link this one with first year anatomy. In anatomy, briefly given, they didn't explain like this. If it is explained like this, you can understand and retain the concept. So hypostomatous, xerophytes. In the case of xerophytes, stomata are hypostomatous. What is the purpose of hypostomatous condition? That is not exposed to sunlight. If it is not exposed to sunlight, what about the rate of transpiration? Less. That is one type of adaptation or not. Moreover, in hypostomatous condition of so-called xerophytes, sunken stomata, sunken, what is sunken? Stomata are present in pits, not exposed to sunlight properly. Hypostomatous. Purpose, this is one type of adaptation. Purpose, to reduce rate of transpiration. What type of transpiration? Stomatal transpiration, but not cuticular. Okay, so we are discussing stomatal transpiration. So from the adaxial epidermis, no stomatal transpiration. Abaxial possible. Some extent of transpiration is mandatory for the transportation of water, minerals, and food material. Definitely transpiration is required, but it depends on habitat of the plant. In amphistomatous condition, no problem, more rate of transpiration. Reason, that is in mesophyte. In hypostomatous, it must be reduced. So that's why xerophytes are having hypostomatous condition. Third one, epistomatous. Now you can understand what is this classification on the base of plant communities. Epistomatous. Here, stomata are restricted to upper epidermis only. Stomata on adaxial epidermis. What example? Hydrophytes with aerial parts. There are certain number of hydrophytes or some hydrophytes with some part aerial leaves, nymphia, nelumbo, like that. So in that case, stomata are restricted to adaxial, not required in the case of abaxial. Reason, that is in contact with water. Epistomatous. And last one, fourth one, astomatous. Astomatous or vestigial stomata. Here I'm taking astomatous. A refers to absence. So leaves without stomata. Astomatous. Example, submerged leaves. Submerged leaves. So that is about a classification of leaves on the base of distribution of stomata. Okay, so up to dicot stomata enough for today. And tomorrow we'll discuss what about the structure of a monocot stomata. Okay, we'll meet in the next class.